this wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day that you're watching or listening to this. I just wanted to say I hope you're doing well and everything's working out in the ways that it needs to. And this is something that I'd like to remind you of as well. Everything will happen when it's meant to happen. Like, I hadn't been working, not in the traditional sense, like I retired young, in a maybe non-traditional sense as well too, or I hadn't worked for 18 months, just took off time. I kind of was working because like I was making the YouTube videos, and I said that was why I left the job in the first place, was to make the YouTube videos. An aspect of me though, I think it was more, I just wanted to screw around and mess around and not have to worry about like going into work and doing all this other stuff. Plus I learned about like manifestation, and I was always doing it, I guess never consciously was aware of it. Everybody's always manifesting everything that they themselves desire. It's just a matter of what is it teaching you, and you got to be the one that inherently puts that meaning on that. So I wanted to explore those ideas, plus I had the money saved up, so I was like, I'll leave. And I said that it was to make YouTube videos, and maybe an aspect of it was, but then the other aspect of it was I just wanted to mess around and not have to work for a little while because my feelings got hurt, and I made a rash decision. It's my own fault, but I also wanted to learn more about my emotions, and I just wanted to walk. And I used to always carry these headphones around, and I had a coffee mug as well too that said the goal is to retire rich and young, and then my headphones said retire young. And then both my mug and my headphones broke, and I was like, well, I guess that means that I retired young. And some people could be like, well, you didn't retire, and I'm like, but I did. Like, I didn't work. I was able to do what I want to do with my days, and I've come to realize when I retire again, with whatever that may be, or whenever that may be, I like to be able to have more monetary means to go travel a little bit more, like get on a plane and maybe eat at nice restaurants or stay at nice hotels or Airbnbs. And that requires monetary compensation to be able to do that said and have those said experiences. So it's about, I guess, finding different ways to be able to do that. Also at the same time, I don't know if I ever really want to retire again, because quote unquote being retired is a bit boring. Like, all I really did, and don't get me wrong, I'm entirely grateful for this, I just rode my bike, I walked a lot, I hiked a lot, I meditated a lot. I also wept a lot as well too. Like, there was all these different aspects or things that I was doing during that time and the time off. And then as soon as the time was right, as I say, all things happen when they're supposed to happen or meant to happen. I got the job starting tomorrow. I think I'm a couple days behind on the upload schedule, so it might be something, and this might come out after I've already had like 2 or 3 days, and I'll give you my updates on how that stuff is going there as well. It's just interesting because like that's happening. I didn't have enough saved up in cash, so I had to take money out of my stock account, which I really did not want to have to do. And I haven't taken it all out quite yet. I just took out enough to at least cover my rent, and I'm hoping that the deals will go through in the time that they're meant to go through in, so like they'll at least be able to be a transfer over to my bank account before the first of the month. So fingers crossed on that happening. It should. I probably waited too long to do this. It was the thing that I didn't want to do. I was hoping maybe something else would come in, and I did get an offer to be able to receive some sort of cash from a family member of mine, which I'm like, I could do that, but then at that point, then I would have to be paying them back in a certain time frame, which almost feels like that would just take more time or effort to repay in some way, shape, or form. But then I have other money in another account that I also could touch, but I'm like, I don't want to have to touch that because then I have to wait for money to be able to send that to the other person. There's like all these different routes that I can go with the monetary compensation that I'm doing, and I'm glad. And I think by me starting the last week of February, I should have enough money. At least if I ran the numbers from what ChatGPT was guessing, things might be slightly different. I don't know in regards to like after taxes and fees and 401ks and HSAs and all of these other contributions, which is to say I probably won't contribute as much right now. I might have like re-enroll on the next go around, so I can have more in the account at that point in time, and so I can build up my savings more, because I still have like $2,000 I think in my HSA for the time being, and I don't use it that much. Like, I didn't use it really at all this past year, so that could be something. Plus, like, I can always save that expense and always expense it or pay myself back months or like probably even a year later if I really wanted to on that. So I might take that a little bit low. It's just with me starting at the end of February for the income, it should, I account for enough to cover all of my expenses for March. And then by the time April comes around, I should have enough. Like, that's when my first commission check should be coming in. Oh my goodness. And that first commission check, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, because that's where a lot more of the income comes in for me personally, is from the commission. Like, the base is just my way of, like, this is going to cover my basic expenses each and every single month, and the commission will be my way of being able to, like, resave and invest and get the money back to where it was. Even though I was thinking about this last night when I was doing laundry, I need to not think about getting the money back to where it was and just realize that I'm just going to do what I do, and we'll just go back to saving the 10% in the savings account, and then splitting up the 2 paychecks to have the $195, I believe, go into one of, like, for each paycheck go into a separate account as well too. So that then that's the $400. If I did my math right, I don't think I did my math right there. 190. We'll just say about 200. I mean, it's pretty dang close for the car payment, and then add on top of that as well too, from each paycheck, split that up into different amounts so that it can go into the other account as well too. So that's also paid for. That'll probably have to happen in a couple of months. At least that's in regards to, like, splitting up the base. Because like I said, the commission is going to be the most likely the way that I rebuild all the savings, or just save up, and then have the base be like what covers all my expenses, and use the commission every now and then to buy something nice or go above and beyond, or whatever it is, if I end up purchasing something or wanting to buy something that's a little bit more out of what I was spending beforehand. Because what I was spending beforehand was, like, the bare minimum of, like, I didn't treat myself to really any groceries. I didn't treat myself to, like, nice dinners or food like that. So I figured I want to do a bit more of that moving forward. I just want to at least get some sort of a safety net covered up, or nest egg, or whatever it may be, before I start doing those, like, big things. So at least for the next 2 months, most likely, in all likelihood, my expenses are still going to have to be more or less the same. They don't have to be as close to the same, but more or less the same until, like I said, I get that first commission check and I see where I'm at. I'd like to be able to go within, like, the 90 days, because that at least gives me a more useful set of data and information to be able to identify, this is how much I am going to be making and expected to make, and then this is how much I am spending each and every single month, which I already know how much I spend each and every single month. And on average, it's about, like, $3,500, and I could always decrease that as well if I do move. Moving fees and all this other stuff would also add up, which I'm like, I don't necessarily know if I want to do that, even though I'm, like, looking at apartments. There's just all this shit, bro. There's all this shit. Because the problem with living in an apartment, dude, is the rent always increases. Like, with townhouses or homes, like, your mortgage is your mortgage. It stays the same unless you refinance it. Then you could decrease, or or even if you take out a second mortgage or something like that. That would be the only reason why your mortgage would increase in the first place. Whereas, like, with my rent increases every single year. So it's like, maybe move somewhere a little bit cheaper, even though I like the place that my apartment has and the view that it has, and then the location where it's at. So I'm like, I don't have to move to another gym, even though I could. I don't know, dude. I guess my life, I just found out that relationships are so much more important than I once thought they were. Like, I thought relationships, like, yes, they did matter, and they do matter, but, like, being able to go out and, like, either hang out with your friends and play, like, games every other week, or chat with somebody every other week, or whatever it may be, I think is really beneficial. At least it has been for me. Because when I was just quiet with everybody, it was not fun at all. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous as well too about the job. Like, I'm excited that I'm gonna be back into sales and making money and getting payments again. Like, I'm looking forward to that. There's just an aspect, I guess, where it's just like, well, what happens if you don't perform in the way that you did beforehand? And then I was like, well, I know how to sell. Like, I know how to work hard. I know how to do these things. Like, when I first started selling at the last company I was at, I didn't know the product. All I did was I just picked up the phone. The first week was a little-ish rough, because I was like a little afraid. I was like, oh, it's hard to like talk to people that have like already on the system and like upsell them to this said thing. But then I talked to somebody and I was like, oh, it's actually really easy to do. And then those were like how I ended up closing the most amount of deals, was like from pre-existing people as well. So it's like I already have this idea of what to do and how to do it, and I don't have the fear of picking up the phone. Like I was able to do that beforehand with my own, like when I was making the YouTube videos as well. Like I did cold calling videos and I didn't have a problem with that. I just didn't like the fulfillment side of things. I enjoy just being able to sell the product and develop the relationship. To me, that just seems easier for me personally, and I enjoy it a bit more. Things will change. I have a couple of different ideas that I'm going to try and test out. Like I was talking about a couple days ago, like doing the photography stuff. Like I feel like that'd be fun. Podcast as well too would be pretty neat. I was just $1,100 short. Technically $1,600 after. So I just had to sell off some of the crypto that I had, which I thought I had more than it, but apparently I staked some crypto and I don't know what the hell that means. So I can't take out like $300 there, but I'm like, well, that sucks. So then I had to go back into my savings account or stock account, I guess, and withdraw some stocks. I don't want to have to withdraw the whole account or anything like that, or the big one. So I'm like having to withdraw like all these smaller ones that I don't have as many shares of, because I'm like, that's giving me money. It's giving me dividends each and every single month, or a quarter, I guess I should say, which has been helpful. I enjoyed my time off. I really did. I enjoyed my graduating or retiring early. It was fun. And I learned that God is, God does, God is everything. You are the universe, I am the universe. We are all one. There is no separation between you and I. Everyone and everything is connected. You can have anything that you desire, anything that you want. Life is yours after all, so why not make the most out of the life that you do have and the life that you do live? Because you only get one of them, so might as well do the things that you yourself enjoy. You don't need to be selling yourself fucking short doing things that other people are telling you to do. You fucker, you're good, lady. Oh my goodness. See, the fucker took my spot, dude. You fucker. It's twice. Dude, I tried to come to the gym earlier so I can like get a parking spot, and then there's no fucking parking spots. It's ridiculous. Then you have to park halfway across the building. But maybe there's a reason for this. Maybe there's a reason for this. Maybe it's like, hey, the reason why you're doing this is because of X. Oh, hey, thank you. Cannot see your brights or your backup lights. Oh my goodness. Which way are you going? Yeah, so I don't know how everything's going to go or what things are going to happen or in what ways things are going to transpire. All I do know is that the life that we live is ours. And like I said, you might as well just do the thing that you yourself enjoy. Even if other people aren't going to be super thrilled, because I was watching this movie last night called The Wild Robot or something like that. And the character was born with not the best wings. He was a smaller like bird. And he learned to fly and do the things that he needed to do. So I feel like I'm just like, this is parking spot's weird. I don't know, this parking spot's weird. But yeah, I guess we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go. Listening to a book called 3 Magic Words. If you guys want to listen to it, it's on Master Key Society. It's a good book. It's about 10 hours long or so. Some concepts might be interesting to you. Not necessarily related to some like sales things, but maybe I'll give my review and thoughts on it as well too. So, enjoy.